Vegas Rosie, I am back for week 3 of college football. Pre-recording this week, no live stream this week because I am on the road to greatness here in more ways than one. It's time to get down on week number 3 of college football and maybe a few tidbits to throw out in terms of what's coming up in pro football. Good week last week, 4-1. Yeah, I got the coolest backdrop in all of sports handicapping. I'm also YouTube and the world's first and only trans sports handicapper, and I'm so glad to be with you today. Isn't that cool? The wall of sound. And if you're not subscribed, hit me up. I do a lot of different things: vintage audio restoration, metal detecting, and this time of year I like to talk college football. 4-1 last week, pushing us out to 11-5 so far this season. I'll take it, so you might want to hear what I have to say. First up, we have FSU, Florida State University, traveling to Louisville to take on the Louisville Cardinals here. And although the Cardinals opened as a 1-point favorite, well, Florida, they're now a 2.5-point dog to Florida State University. Now, why would that be? UCF was a very tough game last week for the Louisville Cardinals, but they pulled it out. But the question is, which team's going to show up on Friday night for Friday Night Lights here for this game? Is it going to? It's a Jekyll and Hyde series, all right? But I do believe that the question that you should be asking yourself is, you should be looking at Florida State University's win against LSU and kind of asking yourself, is coming off of LSU's dismal year last year, was LSU that good when they were on the field against Florida State? Very entertaining games, but things that make you go, I wonder. You know, with Malik Cunningham and the Louisville offense, one of these games, I don't know if it's going to be, they're going to get on track. And they're just going to go crazy. And that Louisville defense is not as bad as the first 2 Jekyll and Hyde games of the year would have you believe. So I was very comfortable on the side of Louisville, and I was happy that the points came out. 2.5 points. So I feel like it's going to be a great game, but I feel like Louisville definitely has a good chance of winning this game. And this will be a real true test of how good these teams really are. You can kind of sometimes throw away the first couple games of the year as things get organized, but certainly Louisville was much better in the second half of that contest against University of Central Florida there. Let's go into Air Force and Wyoming. This was a winner for me the last week against a very poor Colorado Buffaloes. I don't really see that changing, but the points start getting out now, and it's really not that much, 14.5 points. They're playing Wyoming in Wyoming. I know, having traveled through Wyoming, weird shit happens with the weather around Wyoming. I had a bad experience losing my car keys in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Imagine that, trapped in Cheyenne, and there wasn't a damn thing to do. But what's interesting here, this Air Force Wyoming, Wyoming's not that great, but it's 46.5 points is the over/under on that. Pay attention to that, because I think Air Force, all things considered, probably has the best running offense. He's got something close to 500 yards against Colorado. I don't expect it to be that big this week, but I tell you what, it's a tempting game to be on, and I think that they can probably do a little better than 14. I think they can probably beat the spread. Air Force can on there. And there's a chance, if lightning strikes, Wyoming might get a touchdown or two, and it might push it over the 46.5. Texas Tech and Baylor. Baylor's a 29.5 point favorite. I don't see any issue with that game on Baylor. It's coming off a very tough loss to BYU. They're going to be ready for this game. They're going to be bringing their A game, because I think they probably felt a little bad about the way that game got a little raggedy for them last week, and I don't think they were expecting BYU to be that good on defense. So that kind of shook them up a little bit, but I don't think they're going to have any problem with that. The over-under 53. And I think that the Baylor will definitely take care of business. It's a pretty generous line, 30.5, but I feel like they can probably cover in that game. The Ohio and Nebraska, bye-bye Scott Frost, new guy within the program, and his name slips my mind right now. But a really nice guy. I saw his talk. Will he have Nebraska turned around? They have a lot of great cool tools. Casey Thompson's other. The big question is the defense here, and they've installed Oklahoma as a 10-point favorite, and I gotta feel like they're going to be playing with a lot of heart in Nebraska at home, really cheering on this new era of new coaching and a new setup for them. But I don't know if that's going to be enough to put it over the top here. So I'm pretty comfortable that about 10 points would be the margin. The over-under is 66 points. I don't know. That seems a little rich to me. Take that for what you will on that. Purdue and Syracuse is pretty much a straight-up. Syracuse is a 1-point favorite in that, and it's pretty good. You pick it in this one. They're pretty good teams. I mean, Syracuse was a wrecking machine starting the year, and they're sitting in a pretty good position here. But Purdue is going to give them a good, rugged test here. So this is a game that I really don't have a lot of interest in picking this one. We've got, I'm not going to tell you, Cincinnati. We got an opener, Miami, Ohio. They're 22-point dog there. I would easily take that game. Cincinnati laying 22 points looks like easy peasy for this game. I don't think they're going to have any issue at all doing that, covering that spread. And the over/under is 51 points. It just depends what Cincinnati's going to put on the board. So, once again, these aren't what I'm taking. These are things that I'm discussing in terms of the way I see these games being played out from my own perspective, and if I'm going to bet on these particular games. We've got University of Georgia, a 24.5-point favorite to South Carolina, the Gamecocks. I saw the South Carolina Gamecocks in Arkansas. They gave a really gutty performance. Rattler, the quarterback for South Carolina. Now, this 24.5 points they're playing in South Carolina. And it may be a little bit of a sleeper game for Georgia here. Although, I do believe that Georgia will win. I wonder if South Carolina will pick it down and pick and peck and pick and pick, and the Gamecocks go crazy, peck, 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 peck. And they managed to cover that 24.5 points. That's a lot of points for a team that is not a rollover team. They've got a coach that plays it right up till the clock ticks the final second, and we saw that in the Arkansas game. So take that for what it's worth on that. Okay, UConn, Michigan, I don't care about that. Going on some other ones here that are of interest. Old Dominion in Virginia. And this is, Old Dominion is a 9-point dog in this. And I wonder, because I don't think Virginia's been playing real good football so far this year. And I think Old Dominion has been surprising. It's another one you might want to take a look at there. And the over-under on that is 53 points. But I would not be surprised. I would probably be apt to take Old Dominion and the 9 points here, feeling that they could easily do it up with that spread. So we shall see in that game. Ohio and Iowa State, 18.5. The Iowa State, 17.5 point favored. That doesn't get my juices flowing, to tell you the truth. Cal Notre Dame. Bum, 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 bum. Upset alert, upset alert, upset alert. You've got and they're playing in South Bend. Okay, that's fine. Okay, but the team's kind of had their gut punched out of them. Their quarterback Buckner's out for God knows how. I guess basically, I don't know, the season or whatever. The program's in a bit of disarray. The real plus for them is the defense should be good. But Cal's got a tater chucker now, the Cal team. So Cal is a 11-point dog in this game. And I think that there could be the potential that Cal takes it to Notre Dame and does it up over there, because I don't really know how much Notre Dame's going to be generating on offense. Who in the hell knows, right? Maybe grab somebody out of the state, man. Could you be a quarterback in the game? In that game here, they're already conditioned for disappointment in Notre Dame this year. Let's see what else we've got. Ooh, Penn State University. Ooh, at Auburn. Penn State at Auburn. Well, we're always perpetually building up, and in this game, Penn State is a 3-point favorite going into Auburn, and of course, ooh, all the SEC worshipers, ooh la la, ooh, you know, if it's SEC, it's got to be good, right? They got to be better than any other fucking team on the SEC, and I don't know. It just depends. Penn State's got a really good defense against pass. They got a mediocre defense against the run. But I think they have the ability to grind out some points here. It's going to be, everybody's always like, oh, playing at Auburn is like, oh, it's spooky. It's a nightmare. It's like weird hearing this other handicapper, like weird things happen down in the stadium down there at Auburn. Ooh. A break, man. Okay, I get it. The 12th man, whatever, the water boy, whoever the hell it is. But I think it's 3 points, and Penn State, I think that they'll be able to do it up. They got a quarterback that's been with Penn for 16, 17 years now. This guy's never gonna leave Penn State, and he's doing it up down there. Okay, that's the way I feel. At BYU, Oregon. Ooh, just bounced out a little bit now. 3.5 Oregon, 4.5 +4 BYU, Brigham Young University at Oregon. Yeah, it's gonna be a contest. But let me tell you one thing. You underestimate BYU at your own peril. And yeah, Oregon blew out some, I don't know what the hell it was, the Grandma Bears of Idaho or something last week. 70 to something, big deal, a feather in your cap. But BYU is a whole different product out here. And I'm not quite sold on Bo Nix yet, and I want to tell you, the defense of BYU ain't no joke on that line. They got a great offensive line too, so watch out. Okay, watch out. If you're Oregon, when that whistle blows, you don't know what the hell is going to happen on that. But I lean towards BYU. And taking 4 points. I think I got 3.5. Okay, I'm a sucker, whatever, 3.5. Let's talk about another one. Colorado at Minnesota. You got the Golden Gophers against the Buffalo, and they're playing in Minnesota. And the Golden Gophers have looked like an offensive juggernaut up there. So Colorado, Buffalo, I don't know. I think they're going to have a very difficult time. I think it could be a shutout game coming up here. The over-under that is 47 points, and I think everything's going to be on the Minnesota side. So this game's telling you, basically they're telling you that Colorado's all going to be Minnesota on that. So I guess I'd be, 28 points in Colorado. That's a lot of points, but Air Force had no problem laying 17.5 points against Colorado here. So I don't think that the Golden Gophers are going to have any problem on that game. Another big one. Upset alert. Upset alert. Troy going to Appalachian State. The last 4 years that Troy and Appalachian State had mixed it up, Troy's gotten their asses kicked. Okay. Troy is going into Appalachian State as Appalachian State's a 12.5 point favorite coming into the game, and Troy a 13-point dog here. I think before the season began and we had this lumpy first couple games with Troy here, this is supposed to be one of the elite programs of 2022 here. Returning people power rankings in offense and defense, and I think that they might be rounding in the form here. And my question when it comes to Appalachian State, were they that great, or was Texas A&M not as good as people thought the Texas A&M was? So this is a game where you're given 13 points here, and to me it looks kind of juicy to take Troy. Do I think Appalachian is going to blow them out? I don't think that they're going to blow them out. I think Troy's going to be bringing a good game up in Boone, up at 3,300 foot altitude, Boone, North Carolina. But we'll see what the heck it's. Ole Miss and Georgia Tech. Lane Kiffin has got the Ole Miss Rebels like a fine-tuned machine. And I think that they are an offensive juggernaut, and their defense is no joke either. And I think Georgia Tech, yeah, they got a quarterback that can do a little fancy-dancy. But I think Ole Miss is going to have no problem. I'm laying the 16 with Ole Miss. I think we got it at 15. 15. It continues widening out here on that. So I like that Ole Miss too. So trying to see if there's anything else that catches my eye. I don't get down on everything on here, but they're the premium games that are coming up. You got Akron at Tennessee. That's going to be hard. I mean, Tennessee 47 points. The over/under 66.5, 67.5. It's just a question if they're going to run up the score or not. So those are what I am looking at. That's that. I'm sure Pittsburgh, Western Michigan, Pittsburgh a 9.5 point favorite in that. Be a little careful. Pittsburgh's a very banged up team. Okay, they've had a lot of people that were carted off the field in that smash mouth Tennessee Pitt game. The Tennessee came out in much better shape. So we'll have to see how the line situation is on offense and what's going on with the injuries there. So beware of that deal. And I think that's all I'm going to... Oh, Fresno, USC. Woo! The Fresno Bulldogs. USC is a 12-point favorite. And my thinking about this is Fresno played a beautiful game against Oregon State, if you happen to see that. And Oregon State played well, too. But I think that USC this year, as demonstrated in Stanford, everybody's like, Rosie, you don't understand, you dumbass. You don't understand it. This is the old Stanford of 2018. They're going to kick USC's ass all over the field. Well, USC let up a little bit in the last quarter. They let them get 40. It would have been 41-10 if they were really buckling down on it and not putting people in and out of the game. But I think that USC can definitely handle business here at home. And I would be very apt to be comfortable with USC and laying the 13 points here. Let's quickly go down some NFL, your National Football League odds. You see if anything stands out in a game this week. I do not bet the NFL, but I do have opinions on it, of course. We've got the Chargers at Kansas City and 4-point spread on that. That's going to be a good game. But I think Kansas City can cover that 4-point. They're a 4-point favorite in that. I think that they can cover, they lay that, and they can do that, no problem at all. Jets at Cleveland, I don't know Flacco. I can't get all excited. Yeah, I'm from Baltimore. Thank you for the Super Bowl championship. I do appreciate that, but that was then. This is now, and I can't get excited. I got no problem with Cleveland being a 6-point favorite in that game. Miami, Baltimore. Miami's coming in as a 3.5-point underdog. Watch out. Miami is a damn good team with a great defense. And I think Baltimore, my hometown Ravens, could get rocked and rolled in this game. You got to be careful because Miami's good. If Lamar Jackson's having a good game, throwing the tater, yeah, Baltimore could win this game. They are playing in Baltimore. But a lot of teams come in and they play pretty well in Baltimore. So I don't know if there's a real deficit in terms of playing in the Washington Commanders. I saw them playing against Detroit, a favorite on that. It's only 1.5-point spread. Not going to touch the game there. Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a 4-point dog in this thing. This is not the Jacksonville of days gone by, and people say that every year. But I'm impressed. Jacksonville, I think, is going to have a pretty decent season, and I think it's going to begin right in here. And I would have no problem taking Jacksonville in this game to Jacksonville. And the points here because I think that they're going to give a good show. New England and Pittsburgh, this kind of surprised me, but Pittsburgh lost Watt, right, with all his histrionics. And if you saw that game, dude, tone it down, man. It's like you're going to pop a tube or something. Looking at this guy like, holy hell, dude. Slack. So Pittsburgh goes in as a 2-point dog at home, and I don't know. I think I'd be comfortable with Pittsburgh, even with all the bullshit that came down in this in last week. I think I'd still be comfortable with that. Giants, Carolina. Giants going in as a favorite. Be careful with Carolina in there. Tampa Bay, New Orleans. New Orleans is a 2.5-point dog in that game, but New Orleans always plays well at home, and Tampa Bay never plays well in New Orleans. Take that for what it's worth. San Francisco and Seattle. Seattle's a 9.5-point underdog. Now, I don't understand this quarterback for San Francisco. I think he's going to come good, but it was kind of a mess in Chicago, and I know the weather, the slippery ball, and the craziness in there. Should they be able to win? I don't know. Seattle showed me a stout defense. Okay, and hate it or not, the Niners don't do that well in Levi Stadium. I'm just going to put it out there. To me, it seems if I'm going down in Seattle and I'm a 9.5-point underdog, I'm slobbering, I'm foaming at the mouth in that game. Okay, good weather conditions. Maybe the 49ers run all over them in this. I don't know. 49ers are going to be a good team if they get calmed down a little bit. But 9.5 points is a lot. Okay, and I would think it'd be very comfortable taking Seattle in the 9.5. Atlanta, the LA Rams. Here's another one, 10.5 points with the Rams. I'm not sure. I was kind of impressed with the Falcons and the Saints game. I thought Atlanta, a few less screw-ups, holding the ball a little tighter. They had plenty of opportunities to win that game. So I'm not, 10.5 points is a lot of points in pro football. Take that for what it's worth. Bounce back game for the Rams? I don't know. It's not the Rams of last year. Hello? All right, and then we have Arizona and Las Vegas. I think Arizona is going to be smart in coming off that loss to KC. They're a 5.5-point dog going into Vegas. You pick that one, okay? I don't have any juice on that one. We got Houston at Denver's. Houston's a 10-point dog in that. Houston showed me a bit last week, but I still think at home that Denver can take care of business. Is 10 points a lot to cover? Yeah. So this is why people get broken hearts when it comes to betting football. Cincinnati and Dallas. Cincinnati a favorite. Dallas, I don't know what they're going to put Grandma in as quarterback or something like that. They'll stick a fork in him. I mean, they're going to have a really hard time. The over-under is 41.5 points. I don't know, man. So I'm very comfortable with that Cincinnati in the 7.5. I think that they'll easily cover that. Chicago at Green Bay. A few questions about Green Bay. They're giving 10 points to the Packers. Bears are a 10-point dog. Again, in Green Bay, I think that Chicago could surprise. I'll put it that way, based on what I saw. Tennessee, Buffalo. Do I have to say it? All right. 10 points. 10 points in Buffalo at home against Tennessee. No-brainer alert. And finally, we got the Minnesota and the Philadelphia, the Eagles, 2-point favorite. I don't know, man. I know we had some smash-mouth Eagles last week, but I think Minnesota ends up being one of the elite teams. I called it before last week's game. I said Minnesota is not the Minnesota that this team is going to get taken care of business. And they took care of business against Green Bay. That's going to be a wrap this week. Good luck to you. Just some of my thoughts. I will be back on Sunday night to review how it all came down, my bets, and how I did. You know how I'm leaning on some of these games. So good luck to you. Vegas Rosie signing off, saying if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. And we do love our football. Thanks, y'all.